Hello, we have joined the aerospace age and got ourselves a drone, so come with us as we go on a wee road trip to test it out. Now I suppose when you get something like a drone you should find a big open flat space to try it out for your first flight, but where's the fun in that? Instead we headed to Seafield Tower near Cudi to see how we got on with the wee chap, and it went okay. Didn't fly into anything and didn't lose it. We were quite worried about it falling into the sea, but hey, it all went okay. There were no crashes and the little thing flies itself. If you let go of the buttons, it just hangs there and doesn't move, so it's difficult to get it wrong. Seafield Tower dates back to the 16th century, but it is not in a good condition. The weather is really affecting it, and as recently as 2013, a large chunk of it fell off. Still, it's a much more interesting place for a first flight than a football pitch or a field or somewhere really boring like that. But that's quite enough practice for us. Let's go and get a new perspective on some very old places. But before we head off on our adventure, it's time to do some shopping. Some very kind people have supported our channel by buying DeNiro a biscuit via our Ko-fi link. So here's DeNiro going to the biscuit shop to pick up his biscuits. I told you this is going to be an eclectic runabout. We are in Cupar, so DeNiro can have a wee walk in the park and I can go for an optician's appointment. Lucky me, I'm getting old. It's quite funny how quickly we've gone from filming everything on our phone to having a proper wee camera with a proper fluffy microphone and a drone. Technology is taking off, so to speak, if you'll excuse the pun. Right, I know this is supposed to be a drone adventure, but I've just had some eye drops put in. That means I can't drive for an hour. So what do you say we go and have a wee look round Cupar? It's a nice wee town, I think you'll like it. What a nice wee park. It's very quiet today because it's not exactly warm, but it's still nice and DeNiro is enjoying a good sniff around. DeNiro, are you enjoying a good sniff around? I think that's a yes. And over there, in the distance, still not being washed, but the yellowest thing in the world, it's Mabel the camper van. It's really weird with these eye drops. Everything is very bright and very out of focus. I hope it goes away quickly because we have got exploring to do. Yep, and believe it or not, here is Cupar's War Memorial. It's a really nice one. We really quite like that angel statue at the top. So over there is the angel and the First World War, which was the war to end all wars. If that was the war to end all wars, why did they need the second addendum for the Second World War? There's the bandstand and that fitness equipment that you never actually see anybody using. Sorry, more Victorian stuff. This is the Victoria Bridge, which was opened in 1901, and that's the nice view it's got up the river. You know we're suckers for an old building, and there's a really nice derelict old factory building from 1868. Well, we're assuming it's a factory. We'll have to do a bit of research and find out. We said earlier Cupar is an old market town, so we're going to head up to the market square, where still from time to time they have artisan markets where you can buy posh cheese and gin and things that you don't need but might quite like to have. And as it's an old market town, of course there is a market cross, and on top of the market cross is the symbol of Scotland, the unicorn. Yes, we have got an imaginary animal for our symbol. I know I said before we were the only country with an imaginary animal, but that's not actually true. We share that with places like North Korea. So yeah, Scotland and North Korea have got imaginary things for their national animal. Not many of these old market crosses remain in their original place. This one actually isn't in its original place, but it's not far off it. It used to be in the middle of the road, so they moved it out the middle of the road so traffic could actually get past. But there it is, Cupar's Market Cross, and blue sky and sunshine and a unicorn. What more could you ask for? The Market Cross is where the town did its trade. Cupar was a royal borough, so they had the right to raise their own taxes, etc. And they had things like a corn exchange where farmers would come and buy and sell. It was quite a bustling little place back in the day, and it still is. There is a really nice wee baker's shop in Cupar, but this obviously isn't it. This is Greg's, but I'm going in here because there is A, no queue, and B, it's cheap. Tack tent o' smathings, that is the name of that wee close. No idea what that translates into. Smathings is small things, obviously tack is take, O is of tent. No idea, we will have to do some research. cars going past, as there always is. Blah blah blah, car, blah blah blah. Well, the good news is my eyesight has returned to normal, so let's go and see what we can see now that I can see again. So that is the view up the high street of Cupar. You can see there's lots of nice buildings, lots of wee shops and lots of nice places to visit. It's definitely well worth stopping by. I know that we say that a lot as well, but it really is. It's a pretty little town and it's a good base for exploring the surrounding area. I think just because we like driving, we might head in the general direction of Fort William again. That's not a bad day trip, is it? Here to Fort William and back. We do that quite a lot and we do quite enjoy it. Good old Mabel sure gets the miles racked up. Right, our next stop on our wee drone adventure is another place where I don't think we can fly the drone. We are at Balmarino Abbey, but it's in the middle of a residential area and I don't want to fly it in a residential area because you're not allowed. There's not a great deal left of it, as you can see, just a few walls here, but it's quite interesting and the story is quite interesting as well. The guys here walked from Melrose to start their own little monastic order, but they were so far from the seat of power that they kind of lost their way and ended up owning things like their own gardens and their own money, which was a strict no-no. Oh, I peeked too soon because you come round this corner and there's a lot more of it standing. This is really quite impressive. It's all quite well preserved as well, considering it's 12th, 13th century, it's quite old. As you can see, it's all fenced off and we always respect fences, even little ones like that. So we're not going to go inside. You can stand out here and you can use your imagination. But I think pretty much what you can see on the outside is the same as you can see on the inside. It's just a lot of walls. Oh, a wee dark and mysterious hole. That is our favourite sort of hole. Not sure what that would have been. Possibly some sort of storeroom for food to keep it cold because it's dark and mysterious. Don't you love it when science gets in the way of a good story? This Spanish chestnut is supposed to have been here since 1229, but the National Trust for Scotland did some dendrochronology on it and found out it was only 400 years old. Only 400 years old. If you're wondering how I know that, I'm reading that sign down there. Or maybe you thought I could tell the age of a tree by looking at it, which obviously I can't. The monastery was actually opened in 1229, so it's been here for a few hundred years. And the Protestant Reformation, where the Protestants took over the country, a lot of it was destroyed, but some of it survived because it had been turned into a house, and that's why it was spared. So what you see here is mostly bits that were somebody's house. So that is a monastery, and the next stop is definitely going to be a castle. Right, we have stopped off on our route at Balveird Castle in Fife for a wee look. This is another one that we've driven past a few times and never stopped. So today we're going to stop and have a wee look with our eyes and with the drone. Far too many of our wee adventures involve climbing up big hills. DeNiro is staying on the lead because there are lots of sheep. Hello, sheep. And up there, on top of yet another hill, is the castle. It is looking quite impressive. We have no idea what this one is actually like, if it's intact, if you can get in, if it's closed, but we're going up for a wee look. There you go, that is Balvaird Castle, looking quite dark and brooding from this side. I bet it looks a lot brighter from the other side. We are going to get a look at it now from above, because we've looked at it from ground level quite enough. Like Seafield Tower that we just looked at, Balvaird Castle is a 16th century tower house, but this one is in much better condition, as you can see. So I'll shut up while you have a look round. Well, that is quite a nice castle, but I did see a warning on the drone that said caution, high winds, I can't land automatically, so I had to bring it down and panic, but I got it back. It's all good, it's just a little bit windy. Oh, that's quite cool. There's a flight of stairs that don't actually go anywhere anymore, but would once have taken you to one of the upper levels, and over here there is a really nice vaulted ceiling, which is quite impressive. You assume there must be some access to that bit up there that's got the barrier around it, but we can't find it, and I've got a Greyhound with me, so I'm not going to find it. Well worth a wee visit if you are passing. It's free to get in, car parking is at the bottom of the hill, so it's a bit of a walk, but it is worth it. And DeNiro is thinking, oh no, another day of exploring. I'd rather be in my bed. I tell you what though, I wish I'd put a coat on. It's a bit chilly. Yeah, I think I should have put DeNiro's coat on him as well. It is a little bit colder than it looks today, so we'll be heading back to the van now. That is that castle done. Onwards and upwards. Okay, this is one of those things that you drive past and then you stop and you think, what was that? And reverse back. So this is Touch Not the Cat But the Glove, 1746 to 1996. Now 1746, I'm guessing this is another Jacobite thing. Remember the 1745 Jacobite Uprising? So let's go and have a wee look. And this will be a ground level look because it is blowing an absolute hoolie. So this rather nice little cairn commemorates the last Jacobite to reach France in 1755, and over there is the view that it's got, which I think you'll agree is quite impressive. You're looking straight down that valley. This is a place I've never been before, and we're only here because I took a wrong turning because I wasn't paying attention to the sat-nav. But as we are learning from these wee videos, there is no such thing as a wrong turning, only a road that you weren't actually planning on taking. So driving along and we see a sign that says ruins and waterfall. I mean, a ruins and a waterfall, you have to stop, don't you? I mean, you absolutely have to stop. So we're going to go for a wee look at the ruins and the waterfall. And once again, DeNiro is leading the way. I do hope this lives up to the billing because it does look quite impressive. Ruins and a waterfall, we'll soon find out. Okay, not sure about the waterfall, but there is a wee beach, so let's go and have a look down there, see if we can see anything that looks like a waterfall. I can't see a waterfall from here, but I can hear it around the corner, so we've come the wrong way, as you might predict we would. If there's a right way and a wrong way, we are quite good at finding the wrong way. We came along here earlier, there's a lady saying, have you seen the waterfall? Did you see it yesterday? It's like, no, we've never seen it. And it's the worst thing you can hear. Oh, you should have been here yesterday. Yeah, but I wasn't. So hopefully it's not too disappointing today. And there it is, that is the waterfall. As you can see, it's all cliffs and trees and water. You'd have to be an idiot to fly a brand new drone here. Yeah, I'm not quite good enough with the drone to fly it too close to that waterfall over there between those cliffs. That might be quite dangerous. It's quite expensive and I don't really want to see it floating away after I crash it into the water. But then again, nothing ventured, nothing gained. You never know whether to look at the drone or look at the wee screen on the controller, but at this point I was really worried I might fly it straight into the water, so I stopped. This all looks a bit interesting. This is going to be quite cool. I'm going to put DeNiro back in the van and then I'm going to go for a wee explore. Yeah, I don't think he minds going back in the van. He's like, yeah, can we go back now? Can we go back now? Please, 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 I want to go back. Can I go for a lie down? I want my bed. Trot, 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 trot. Right, that's the waterfall. Now we're going to go and see if we can find the ruins. I am not holding out much hope because nothing is signposted once you get away from the car park. But these steps look like a reasonably good place to start. So let's go and see what we can find up here. This is going to be exciting. Are you excited? I'm excited. I'm always excited when I'm out exploring. I could have saved myself the excitement of the drone by coming up and standing up here because you can see the river coming down there and then there's the falls down there. No idea where the ruins are. We will save them for another day. I'll come back here with Bex. She would really like it here. Never heard of the River Patrick, but that is it, and those were the Patrick Falls. It's funny how when you're looking for things like the ruins, you become really reliant on Google Maps. You say Google Maps will know where it is, but Google Maps doesn't work here because there's no phone coverage, so the ruins will have to wait. The next stop on our wee trip required me to be a big brave boy. We'd flown the drone places where it was quite safe if anything happened, but here, if it went down, we were not getting it back. This is the Laggan Dam, which is an amazing structure, especially when seen from this angle. This dam was built in the 1930s to power the local aluminium smelter, and look at that view up the length of the loch. That is quite something else. And inevitably, when flying something over a loch with a dam on it, you have to do a spin round and then do a dam buster's run. This was the first time I tried to move the camera while I was flying. My brain had difficulty doing two things at once, but it worked. So you've seen the Bridge of Oich from the top, and that is what it looks like from down here on the bottom beside the river. It's quite impressive. It's a really cool looking bridge. Okay, we might go for one more wee look from the other side so you get a view of the whole thing in a oneer. So that is where we are now going to head without falling down into all this mud. Yuck. It's a pity. It started raining just enough to make flying the drone not a great idea. I don't think they're particularly waterproof. So in the absence of the drone, we go back to our old plan of a camera on a stick. There you go. That is definitely now the last look at the Bridge of Oich, unless this rain stops and I launch the drone, which I don't think is going to happen. So let's get on with the journey and see what we find next. If you do come here, don't park in the Bridge of Oich car park. Park in the car park beside the canal. It's much nicer, much bigger, and you get a better view of the bridge. Right at this exact moment in time, it is not raining, so it's time to get the drone up. Now, as soon as we got the wee drone out its bag and set up, the rain started again. I thought, now that I'm here and the drone is ready to go, let's have a wee quick flight. Now, I must admit, I did kind of rush this. I didn't get any particularly good shots, but it's still interesting to see this wee bridge from on high. A bit more beautiful scenery for you. There's the reflection of the house and the trees in the canal, and over there is the new swing bridge that goes over the canal, and over there is the Bridge of Oich that we've just been looking at. By the time our wee random stoat about Scotland had made it as far as Fort William, the weather had improved remarkably, so this was a great chance to take the drone to somewhere that we'd actually been quite recently. Shots like this one of Inverary Cemetery are exactly why I wanted to get a drone in the first place, and you see there we are now approaching Inverary Castle. I think it's time for our first sweeping reveal of the scenery. We can't get into the castle because it's closed, but that doesn't stop the drone from popping over and having a look down so you can see the layout of the place. That is quite an impressive shot, the first of many. And if one dam wasn't enough, this is the Cudi Dam, which we passed a little bit later on, so we thought we'd stop and do a wee bit of filming here as well. It wasn't that awfully long ago that if you wanted shots like this, what you needed was an actual helicopter, which are big and expensive, whereas drones are small and comparatively cheap. They have really opened up this whole creativity thing and you get some amazing shots. And obviously this is only our first trip out with the wee drone, so expect more and more amazing shots as we find out what we're doing and we get better and better at actually flying it. Although things look idyllic from the drone, it's when you get to ground level you realise that the beaches of Scotland, and indeed probably everywhere in the world, have a serious problem. This is supposed to be an untouched wilderness, and it is in many ways, but look at all the rubbish lying on the beach, and people say, oh, we don't know where it's coming from. Ropes and fishing nets and fish boxes and fishing floats. I think there's a theme here. And people can do beach cleans, but you know, you do a big beach clean here and you remove a ton of waste, and then the next tide it's all back again. It's all been replaced by just as much all over again. One man's junk, another man's treasure. And on that slightly sombre point, it's time to say goodbye for this week's wee episode. If you've enjoyed it, do please like and subscribe and all that gubbins, and we'll see you soon for more Scotland on a shoestring. DeNiro. Oh, neck scratch, neck scratch.